Hey YouTube, Jujubear here, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to our 2016 Risk Tournament coverage of the group stage. So if you're unfamiliar with the rules of the Risk Tournament, it basically goes along the lines of 2 players submit a build to admin, and then there's a 50-50 chance that both players will have to swap over their armies, so it definitely throws up some pretty interesting strategies. This particular game will actually feature tournament favorite YawningFirefly from Wolf Clan, aka Jaw. I hope you guys enjoyed the first match he had in his group stage against Banol. Very entertaining match to watch, that one. If you haven't seen it, check the link down below. I'll put one in here. And we've also got CONCEIVABLE, AVA CONCEIVABLE. Now, I've played him a couple of times, and I know for a fact he's very good. Excellent player. I don't think I've actually beaten him in all the games I've played against him. So, 2 very good players playing up against each other. Now, this is pretty interesting to see. So many awesome matchups in the group stages. I think that just goes with the pedigree, the amazing pedigree of players that we have in this tournament already. So what happened is I actually rolled a 1 for this particular battle. So we are going to be playing a normal round. There are no army swaps. Both players are going to play with the armies that they built themselves. So let's jump into the army compositions and we'll see what each player has brought to the table. Okay, let's jump into this. Nemes is the map that we're going to be playing here. CONCEIVABLE's ARDIAEI, pretty balanced stuff. You got Illyrian Noble Hoplites. We got 4 Slave Slingers, 2 Tarantine Cav, 4 Axe Warriors, 2 Celtic Warriors, a couple of Illyrian Marines, I believe. I can't really... No, 4 Illyrian Hoplites, those guys are. Now, Jaws brought a pretty specific build here. I think I've seen Greek Heracles play with this kind of build fairly successfully. He's got 4 of these naked swords, 2 normal pikemen, 1 levy pike, 4 eastern slingers, 3 Scythian horse archers there, a friggin' scythe chariot, Pontic Royal Cav General. He's got 4 Cappadocian Cav. So very interesting to see the different builds that are being brought to the table here. So I'm guessing Jaw is going to have to make sure that he can deal with the flanking force that inevitably comes from CONCEIVABLE. This is very classic CONCEIVABLE. I mean, I've seen him a couple of times playing, and he seems to kind of form up a formation that's very, very wide. So I guess he's given himself a very good opportunity to get around the pikes at the right time. So we're going to have the Scythian horse archers at the front. We're going to have the weaker pikemen in the center, stronger pikemen out on the flanks. 4 of his eastern slingers in the center being defended by those pikes. Scythe chariots right up the back there, and it looks like they are hidden actually, so CONCEIVABLE can't actually see this chariot unit. And we'll see if that pays off, because a lot of the time I've been caught out by this myself, so I'll jump into a match and I'll kind of be looking at an enemy's army, and I won't really bother to kind of count up how much funds the other player has brought. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but Heir of Carthage seems to do that kind of thing. He'll go, Eastern Sling is 380 times 4 is so much, you know, naked swords, and he'll just go through and calculate the exact funds of each army that he faces up against. But we'll see if CONCEIVABLE does that. If not, he's probably going to be caught out and given quite a rude shock. Though it doesn't look like CONCEIVABLE's brought too many scouting units. I mean, if he had a couple of like horse skirmishes, he might be able to peel through here and discover this scythe chariot. But it looks like Jaw's being sneaky again. Deception is key, obviously. And it looks like Jaw is a lord of deception so far. This replay was submitted to me by Jaw, so we're obviously seeing it from Jaw's perspective, which is why we can see the scythe chariots up the back there. So Jaw's going to bring his Scythian horse archers out into this flank. Going to go right around the very wide formation of CONCEIVABLE's. CONCEIVABLE's going to pretty much ignore them and just send some Celtic warriors out here as meat shields. Pretty good decision there. I reckon these guys have got 2 jav volleys and they could bring down a whole bunch of these Scythian horse archers if they wanted to. And CONCEIVABLE's making sure to support that unit with the mercenary Tarantine Cav. So good move for sure. These slave slingers as well, just being kept in this general vicinity to hold off the horse archers as well, so definitely a good move. Now, yep, so it's going to be tough to know, I guess. I guess Jaw had to kind of guess whether CONCEIVABLE had seen his scythe chariots or not. Sometimes in a match, you know, there'll be like a few seconds where this little icon will disappear above the side chariot's heads, and they will have been spotted by the opposing player. But sometimes it's too quick for the player to notice. But we'll see if Jaw is successfully able to keep that unit hidden. So Conceivable's army is going to be split up. He's got Noble Hoplites out in this flank with a Slave Slinger leading. He's got Mercenary Axe Warriors and a Celtic Warrior at the back, and also a Tarentine Cav. I'm pretty sure a very similar thing is happening over here, but he's a little bit spread out because of those Scythian Horse Archers. In the center, he's got 3 of these Illyrian Hoplites, no, 4 of them, and 2 Slave Slingers in the center as well. So these Slave Slingers are amazing. Coming up against the Eastern Slingers, they very well could give them a run for their money. Obviously, they're not going to win out in a fight one-on-one, but the Eastern Slingers are going to have to use up quite a lot of ammo to take out that Slave Slinger. These guys have actually a pretty decent missile block chance, and they're cheap as chips as well, so definitely an asset to the ARDIAEI roster. Looks like Conceivable's content to leave a Celtic Warrior up here, but I think these guys are not on fire at will because they don't appear to be firing into that Celtic Warrior, so probably a good decision from Jaw straight off the bat. Very disjointed formation here, but Jaw does have the mobility advantage. He does have more cav, and you can see he's being very careful to keep his naked swords right at the back here, out of range of those Slave Slingers, because they could get destroyed by a frontal cav charge or continued slinger fire from the front. So this is actually a very long battle. What I'm going to do is put it in. Might get an engagement here. Looks like Jaw's pushing pretty hard. And Conceivable's getting pretty close to the chariots over here. So it doesn't look like he has spotted it yet, because he's going to be moving his formation in this direction. And it doesn't look like that's what Jaw wants him to do. I think I can see what he's trying to do is like form up in this position, try and get Conceivable to kind of form up like this. And then that gives Jaw a good opportunity to bring his chariots out along this flank and hopefully wreck a couple of units. These Tarentine Cav. Oh yeah, wow, okay. Jaw's getting a lot of very good shots into the rear of this Celtic Warrior here. Though this is a very cheap Celtic Warrior, and any ammo that he can waste off these Scythian Horse Archers is definitely going to be worth it to Conceivable. Though even then, these Scythian Horse Archers are very cheap as well, so... Jaw's microing over here. I guess there's a bit of a cat and mouse game. I'm going to put it into forward just so we're not sitting here for 23 minutes. Even though I'm guessing this is going to be quite a good battle, I think Jaw, when he sent the email, said that this was a fairly entertaining battle to watch, so... I'm definitely very keen to see what happens here. Okay, looks like Conceivable's going to commit. Going to push up. We've got the Eastern Slingers going to be moving out into this flank. Very interesting stuff happening here. They're going to be focus firing in on this Tarentine Cav. Not too sure why the reasoning for that is. Because it looks like he would probably make more use just focus firing on the Slave Slingers. Take those guys out, then you have less of a threat for your Scythe Chariots. Are they still hidden? Yes, they are. So they haven't been spotted by Conceivable just yet. Jaw's going to feint with his Cappadocian Cav, bring them in and pull them out. These pikemen are in a bit of danger here of being flanked. Though, of course, if Conceivable does wrap around with his Illyrian Noble Hoplites, he's going to take a fair bit of Eastern Slinger fire from the front. And it looks like Conceivable's going to take it. Going to go straight into the back of that pikeman. They're probably going to do quite well in that engagement there. The pikemen have been put into pike phalanx, but it looks like Conceivable's going to change targets. No, he's going to go straight for it. And this opens up the rear to these Illyrian Hoplites. In the center, just got these Celtic Warriors and Axe Warriors just holding in the back. These Illyrian Noble Hoplites are going to be targeted by these naked swords, it looks like. Nice charge there from the Cappadocian Cav. They're going to be pulling out, taking some losses from the Slave Slingers. Conceivable's putting some pressure on. And it looks like the lines of Jaw have been a little bit muddled about here. And he is taking a lot of fire in the rear from the Slave Slingers of Conceivable. So very good stuff in pushing back those units and getting good shots into the rear. So what do we got now? Cappadocian Cav, this is very dangerous for them. Going to get a nice YOLO charge in the front by these Cappadocian Cav. Going to knock over a lot of those units. And he's going to follow up with these naked swords. So Conceivable is going to have to kiss his Celtic Warriors goodbye, but he is supporting with these Axe Warriors. So that's probably going to go quite well for him there. Jaw's going to be screening up with these pikemen and going to follow up with the Naked Swords. Classic combination. That's probably going to work out quite well for him. These mercenary Naked Swords are kind of by themselves though, and look how quickly they just shattered that Celtic Warrior over there. Out in this flank, we've got no engagements just yet. They're kind of just pushing a little bit. We've got a Axe Warrior and a Noble Hoplite pushing in. Yep, Jaw's going to intelligently pull away from that and use his Cappadocian Cav to get the charge in before the engagement. Good stuff. And he's probably going to turn around his Naked Swords here and engage just after that. These pikemen just getting destroyed by the Illyrian Noble Hoplites. Man, they're doing well. Lots of kills. Holy shit, 54 straight off the bat. These Cappadocian Cav are going to be coming in. I'm guessing they're going to probably go for the rear charge, possibly. But yeah, you got one Mercenary Naked Sword up against two fairly expensive units. So it looks like he's just going to pour in the Eastern Slinger Fire here. Good stuff. I guess he's kind of weighed that up, this trade. And a Naked Sword is probably worth more than a Noble Hoplite and a Mercenary Axe Warrior. In the center here, Side Chariots still have not been spotted by Conceivable just yet. These Mercenary Axe Warriors are going to be pushing. And we're going to see the same thing with these Cappadocian Cav. I guess he's going to follow up with these Mercenary Naked Swords also. These Scythian Horse Archers have managed to destroy most of this Celtic Warrior in the center. We've got Levy Pikemen holding up these Illyrian Hoplites in the center. These wow, Cappadocian Cav have managed to sneak their way through, and they're getting into these Slave Slingers. Getting a fair bit of... Okay, we're getting a Tarentine Cav that's committed to this fight. Whether or not they'll win that, they probably won't know. But it looks like Conceivable's won out in this flank, which is pretty good, and he's going to be pushing up into this side of the battlefield. But these Eastern Slingers have all the time in the world to just pour in the fire here. These Noble Hoplites are going to start to rout. But it looks like he's going to have to push back because he has no choice. So definitely some pretty good trades happening for Jaw so far. Though Jaw is losing. Oh wow, nice charge there from the Cappadocian Cav. Just destroying the Axe Warrior straight up. They're probably going to be routing at some point, maybe? No? So Conceivable's done well to destroy most of his pikemen. So, oh wait. No, Levy Pikemen down 20 men and another pikeman down to 96 men. So, but he is running out of men to defend his skirmishes. If he's not careful, these Tarentine Cav could get into some pretty nice positions. I think Conceivable is going to have to be careful not to lose this other Mercenary Tarentine Cav, because that's his only choice to get rid of these Eastern Slingers at this point. Okay, so we got the Cappadocian Cav down to 58 men. They did destroy that Tarentine Cav out in this flank. Conceivable is going to push. He's got lots of skirmishers left on the field. And over here, he's going to have a hard time trying to pull out there. Very lucky he managed to destroy that Mercenary Axe Warrior before the help came in the form of these Illyrian Noble Hoplites and Axe Warriors. And his Axe Warriors did come back as well from initial charge there. So Jaw's been using his cavalry to good effect so far in the battle. He's going to be starting to wrap around with his units surrounding Conceivable. He's going to have to be careful of his glob of skirmishers here. But these units are kind of left without any real support out here. So these Axe Warriors are going to be destroyed with 18 men left, and he's got a Mercenary Axe Warrior, 41, and an Illyrian Noble Hoplite with 39 men left. So lots of fairly strong units that have been taken down to a pretty easy level. Wow, these Levy Pikemen are getting absolutely ripped apart by these Slave Slingers, getting shot in the rear. These guys aren't going to survive for too long with that, and it looks like yep, looks like Jaw's going to see that threat and is going to push them back with his Cappadocian Cav. Going to have to use his Tarentine Cav here to try and defend them. But it looks like Jaw is doing well to kind of pick his battles here. Ooh, going to throw the Tarentine Cav in here. Very important moment in the battle. So it looks like he's going to bring his Illyrian Noble Hoplites back, which is not a bad idea at all. And it looks like these... Wow, already out of ammo. I did not expect that. These Eastern Slingers are going to be out of ammo. Or maybe not, who knows? Was that a... I don't know if that was a mistake or not. It seems very early in the battle for them to be out of ammo, really. Mercenary Naked Swords being brought back. Oh, and these Cappadocian Cav going to be getting into his Slave Slingers. Already lost one. The other one's being held up by a Mercenary Tarentine Cav. But over here we've got Mercenary Axe Warriors holding it off, but yeah, it looks like Jaw's going to be able to get into it with his own Scythian Horse Archers there. So again, we've got Conceivable wrapping around here with his leftover units. These guys hopefully get a good Jav toss off here. See if they do. Nah, last minute charge from Jaw with his Cappadocian Cav. He's running out of pikemen here, Jaw, and he's losing another Cappadocian Cav out in this flank over here, but he does only have one Slave Slinger left on the field. The only real threat for these Scythe Chariots, really, that are left over are these Mercenary Tarentines and these 2 Slave Slingers. I mean, most of his Precursor Javelins or Volleys may have been used up at this point. But yeah, Conceivable pushing the envelope very hard here with his Illyrian Hoplites, pushing back all of these Eastern Slingers, including these Pontic Royal Cav. So it looks like Jaw's running out of options within his main unit or army. But at some point, oh dear, here we go. So this is a thing, is Conceivable. I don't blame him. He has no idea that this Scythe Chariot is here. So of course he's not going to really bother too hard about, you know, keeping his Slave Slingers in the fight or keeping his Mercenary Tarentines in the fight. But it looks like Jaw's going to be trying his best to take these units out as soon as possible. Nice charge in here from these Illyrian Hoplites, getting into these Mercenary Naked Swords. Oh, but we've got to switch out with these Cappadocian Cav. Don't get the best charge because they get caught up on their own Naked Swords there. These Illyrian Noble Hoplites charging into the front of pikemen. They'll probably actually do fairly well in that engagement, even though they are on the pointy end of pikes. Oh, and the Scythe Chariots have been spotted, so we've got these Celtic Warriors coming out chasing them off. Man, Conceivable must be shitting himself right now. And the only unit that can really stop them is now being thrown into combat here, so... Oh, definitely a little bit too late to be discovering this unit from Conceivable. He does have a couple of very useful units left in the field in the form of these Slave Slingers, but who knows if they have enough ammo to deal with these Scythe Chariots and the rest of the pikemen left on the field, because how many have we got left? Oh, to be honest, actually, I think Conceivable's already dealt with the pikemen, so that definitely makes it a little bit easier for Conceivable so far. These are Axe Warriors and Illyrian Noble Hoplites doing fairly well against those Cappadocian Cav, but they are going to get charged by these naked swords. These guys are going to pick up a lot of kills on that charge there. They do have Frenzy Pop there. Pontic Royal Cav taking out what was left of an Illyrian Hoplite, and Conceivable's general being shot in the rear from these Eastern Slingers. Definitely not gonna bode well for him there. Jaw's doing pretty well to get around the battlefield and take out different units. Going to be taking shots in the rear and the flank of different guys. But Jaw is definitely running out of options fairly quickly. He's got 4 of these Eastern Slingers. I'm guessing those Celtic Warriors were destroyed by the Scythe Chariots. But oh man, sneaky Jaw. Fuck man. Just the king of deception. Oh my god. I really wouldn't have expected that for a chariot to be hiding in this tiny little forest. So Conceivable, you can see he's definitely got a lot of units left in the field, and he's done pretty well so far to get rid of the pikemen and the ammo from the Eastern Slingers. But definitely going to be an uphill battle from here on. Let's just put it in forward so far. Starting to lose my... Oh, we got a nice charge coming in here from the Cappadocian Cav. They're going to be pushed off though by the Illyrian Noble Hoplites. Jaw's Scythian Horse Archers are going to be coming into the back. Probably a good decision. Going to be threatening those Slave Slingers. Let's just check it out. How many kills have we got in each unit? Eastern Slingers, 39 kills, 60 kills, 41. And 39 all respectable kills on a pretty good army roster here. Mercenary Axe Warriors, Illyrian Hoplites. So I really should take this opportunity to explain that neither player knew what the other player was bringing. So if there's not an army swap, then neither player is going to be able to know what the other player is bringing. So obviously Conceivable didn't know that that Jaw was bringing a Pontic build with the pikemen and the Eastern Slingers. So obviously he's brought a build that would kind of be a little bit broad. It's very balanced. It seems like it would be very good against a lot of different armies, but Jaw kind of banked on a less than you know, ideal army, and it's kind of paid off for him here. So so far in the tournament, Jaw's been pretty lucky to to be able to come up against opponents that have, you know, builds that are not ideal to deal with what he's got. So it looks like Conceivable's content to kind of stay back and soak up all this fire from these Eastern Slingers. They mustn't have a whole lot of ammo left. They've got their daggers out. I don't know whether that means that they're out of ammo at this point. Nice job from Jaw coming in the rear here, getting some good shots with his, baiting out a volley. Got to lose a couple of men to Conceivable's Slave Singers there. And Conceivable's doing a good job with his Illyrian Noble Hoplites, holding off the rear. These Axe Warriors, though, are not going to last too long, and they don't really have much of a role left in the fight, I wouldn't really imagine. But yeah, you can see Jaws trying to focus fire on these Illyrian Noble Hoplites. They're going to be probably the biggest threat at this point. Very heavy spear infantry. You're going to be able to hold up those scythe chariots fairly well. So a bit of a stalemate for this last part of the battle. I would love to know what these two guys are going to be messaging each other. But yeah, Conceivable's kind of not really left with many options. He doesn't have any cavalry left on the field, so he's not going to be able to get around and threaten the enemy skirmishers. So Jaw kind of realizes he does have the option of doing this kind of thing with his skirmishers and Eastern Slingers and just kind of getting around the flanks and taking shots. This is probably a very good decision from Jaw, getting nice shots into the unshielded flank of these Illyrian Noble Hoplites. Oh, good idea here, actually. The Scythian Horse Archers getting a nice shot into the rear of this Illyrian Noble Hoplites and kind of closing up that gap. So as you'd expect, Conceivable is going to be forming up a defensive position with his Mercenary Axe Warriors in the center, and this guy's about to be pulled apart. The balance bar is fairly even at this point. These guys are on pretty poor morale at this point. And it looks like they're going to be struggling to stay in the fight for much longer. Who knows how much ammo these Eastern Slingers have. But I'm surprised that actually Conceivable is going to have to hold on to that ammo with these Slave Slingers so that he can deal with those side chariots. But definitely a very tense end to the battle here. We've only got 5 minutes left on the counter. Looks like Conceivable is going to be moving in and out. Taking a couple of shots in the unshielded flank by these Eastern Slingers. That really is the mark of a good player, firing into an unshielded flank of an opponent if you can't get a rear shot, you know. So Conceivable is going to be forming up with his Slave Slingers. Interesting to see that that Jaw hasn't bothered to fire on those Slave Slingers. I'm guessing they would probably be a fairly big threat for those scythe chariots as well. But I guess Jaw wouldn't want to commit because he does have some pretty good units. But they're all support units, if you kind of know what I mean. There's no real mainline infantry to hold up these Illyrian Hoplites for a long amount of time. So he's going to have to make sure that he can kind of hold down each of these units for long enough to get his chariots through here and start wrecking different units on the battlefield. I mean, none of those spears are going to have precursor javelins, that's for sure, but these mercenary axe warriors may have a precursor javelin left if they haven't already used it. So Conceivable's forced to kind of withdraw into a smaller box here. This is entirely within the rules because these aren't pikes. Eastern Slingers forming up. Very long battle here. I guess it looks like both players are taking a very measured approach to this to the end of this battle. And it looks like there's going to be a bit of focus fire coming in on these Illyrian Noble Hoplites. Oh, here we go. Chariots moving up. Whether they're going to get into combat soon is your guess is as good as mine. They are fresh, so they're going to be able to get into combat fairly quickly. If I was Conceivable, I would be gearing up here. Here we go. So he's lining up to take a couple of shots here. Man, this is going to be freaking brutal. I don't know how I feel about this. I really think what Jaw should be doing is holding down different units with his cavalry. But he's just going to go straight through. Boom. Knocking down a whole bunch of these. Oh, that is brutal. Oh my god. Just steamrolling this Illyrian Noble Hoplite there. And Jaw's going to be pouring in the flaming shot here, just to make sure he can keep a lot of units out of the fight. Very intelligent use of those bows and arrows there. and he's going to be pouring in the slinger fire as well. So the only units that are going to be able to hold up are going to be the healthy Illyrian Noble Hoplites, I would expect. These Illyrian Hoplites are struggling with their morale so far. They're going to be coming around for another round. But this is just, there's not really a whole lot that Conceivable can do aside from wait it out. I mean, these guys do have a bonus versus large, all these Illyrian Noble Hoplites, but there's just not a whole lot he can do. 383 kills, holy moly. And I think that's going to be that. My goodness. Scythe Chariots. Oh my god, costly victory for Jaw there. 407 kills in the Scythe Chariots, pretty good stuff. Cappadocian Cav doing very well, 320 there. Double XP Chevrons, amazing stuff. Scythian Horse Archers doing very well also. Naked Swords doing a very good job at taking out spear units, I'm guessing. But, oh man, Conceivable, he was tricked. Oh man, neither player knows what the other player is bringing. So, Conceivable had no idea that Jaw had brought this Scythe Chariot, and I don't blame him. He kind of didn't really worry too much about holding on to different units, but I would never expect anyone to be hiding a Scythe Chariots in a tiny little, pack of shrubs like that. That's hilarious. Eastern Sling is doing an amazing job. Single SP Chevrons on 3 of them, getting lots and lots of kills. The Pikemen, I guess, were fairly good in support for the Kappas and the Naked Swords. So very micro-intensive build, but I guess it did pay off for Jaw. Conceivable's RDAI did a fairly good job. He did. I really like the way that he used his Noble Hoplites, especially on the front end of pikes. They can win out, and I guess we saw that today. These Slave Slingers also. At the end, it's just, yeah, he only really had time for 1 or 2 volleys before they were destroyed by the Scythe Chariots. But yeah, very good use of those units. I guess he didn't have enough of that mobility at the end of the game to deal with the Eastern Slingers. So I guess the army builds really worked out for Jaw there. So thanks Conceivable for playing with the match. Thanks Jaw for sending the replay through to me. Now what this means for the group stages is we have Wolf is sticking up the top of that group. I think it's Group C. AVA Conceivables down next to Bnol on the ladder. So he's going to be searching for his next win. We'll have El Cid, I think, is going to be jumping to some games, hopefully fairly soon. So maybe we can get some other people up there at the top of that group there. But anyway, thanks guys for watching. Hopefully you did enjoy, and we'll see you guys next time. This is Jujubear signing out. Peace.